The Nikon Z6 is now almost 4 years old in the year 2022, but yet it is still an incredible value for landscape photography. So let's talk about that in this video. What's up guys, it's Project Photography back in the video, and today for the past 4 years, I have been using this Nikon Z6 religiously for my landscape photography. And very recently, I picked up the second Nikon Z62 in my landscape photography kit. And I have to say, I am really happy with this kit and this setup. And if I've been using it for the past 4 years, then it must be doing something right for me and my landscape photography. We're talking about incredible image quality. We're talking about a lightweight package that delivers a pretty hefty punch. We're talking about lenses that blow you away and are absolutely mind-blowing when it comes to the image quality itself. We're talking about incredible dynamic range. We're talking about Nikon colors that cannot be rivaled by any other camera manufacturer. And those are the things I really love about this camera for my landscape photography. And when it comes to the needs of a landscape photographer, I feel like we're pretty minimal. We don't necessarily need the super high refresh rate. We don't really need the super high frames per second shooting. We don't need the 8K video. We don't need all these fancy specs and stuff. And with our landscape photography, we keep our needs to a pretty simple, minimalistic sense of needs. And that's where I think the Nikon Z6 comes in very handy in the year 2022. And I think landscape photographers are surrounded by so many incredible options when it comes to having incredible landscape cameras for our photography. We are spoiled with 45 megapixel cameras. We are spoiled with the Nikon Z7 II, Z7, and just incredible cameras that can blow you out of the water. But when you consider our needs for landscape photography, we don't really need those sorts of things. And I think the goal of every landscape photographer or just photographer out there when it comes to acquiring a new piece of gear is we should ask ourselves, how can we satisfy our needs in the most minimalistic way possible and also the cheapest way possible? So we don't go overboard and buy the most expensive, newest thing possible. And it may satisfy our needs, but it's gonna be in excess. And we really don't wanna do that because we can use that money that we spend on those really expensive new gear to buy things like tripods, filters, trips, lenses, and the such, because these are the things that are really gonna help us improve our landscape photography as a whole. And that's why I think the Nikon Z6 is such an incredibly valuable piece of gear, because it accomplishes all those needs in a really minimalistic, simple package, right? We get the 24 megapixels, we get the incredible dynamic range, we get the incredible build quality and image quality and the lightweight package that it offers us. And we don't really need the excess stuff that a lot of these other camera gear supplies us. When it comes to talking about this camera, in terms of its value per the dollar, I think that is the best way to evaluate what a camera can give you in terms of its needs. The Nikon Z6 delivers incredible image output for only $1,200. I mean, find me a full frame mirrorless package that is gonna accomplish that under $1,200. Now this camera was around $1,000 like a month ago and is even dropping a little bit below that, and since then it's gone up. But even then still, it is still an incredible camera for landscape photography. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be saying, oh, what about the Nikon Z6 II? And don't get me wrong, that camera is absolutely stunning. It is essentially a successor to the Nikon Z6. But when you consider the features that it has, like improved autofocus, faster frames per second shooting, we're talking about 4K 60 video, 15-minute shutter exposure, we're talking about dual card slots. How many of those different features are actually gonna be beneficial to us when it comes to our landscape photography? You could probably argue that the second card slot as well as the 15-minute exposures are definitely gonna be a benefit to landscape photographers, but is it $600 more benefit to us? And I would probably argue no. Again, like I said, you can use that money for other things that are more important. So with all that being said, the Nikon Z6 is really an incredible use for landscape photography. In no way, shape, or form have I felt like it's held me back in these past 4 years when I've used it. I've been able to go out into incredible places and shoot some amazing landscape photography, get some incredible images that the Nikon Z6 was able to accomplish. And at the end of the day, when it comes to shooting your landscape photography, what's gonna be more important than your camera is your skills as a landscape photographer. Are you gonna go out there and shoot incredible images? Are you gonna be able to go out there and get the compositions that you need? Are you gonna be able to go out there and use your camera to the fullest of its abilities? And I think that's where the Nikon Z6 really plays at its strengths. The Nikon Z6, for me at least, is able to get out of the way and just be a camera and allows me to shoot without having to worry about and fiddle with the settings constantly, right? It just gets out of my way, allows me to do my landscape photography as a whole without having to feel like I'm really cramped and confined to what the camera has to offer. And I think that's really the entire point of this video. The Nikon Z6 accomplishes all of our needs for landscape photography in a really minimalistic package that, you know, for $1,200 is really hard to find in any other camera manufacturer or any other system, period. And what the Z6 really is able to do is be a facilitator for the incredible lenses that the Nikon Z system offers. The 14-30 is an absolutely incredible wide angle lens. It is honestly probably the best wide angle lens I've ever used for my landscape photography. It's just so sharp corner to corner, and the Z6 is able to facilitate that. And I think a similar thing can be said for the 24-200. This is an incredible telephoto lens for my landscape photography. And you know, this is probably a really obscure, you know, choice, and we don't really have a dedicated 70-300 telephoto lens for landscape photography, but this 24-200 does a job, and the Nikon Z6 is able to facilitate that. Like I said, I have two, one for my wide angle, one for my telephoto, and I don't feel like I need to upgrade anytime soon because, first of all, I don't think Nikon has come out with a camera that satisfies absolutely all of our needs for landscape photography. I would love to see something like a three-way articulated screen on these cameras. I would love to see a bit improved dynamic range. I would love to see, you know, of course, obviously more megapixel counts. You would love to see a camera that encompasses all of those things. But like I said at the beginning of the video, we want a camera that is able to encompass those things in a very minimalistic package, and I think the Nikon Z6 does that. So how are we going to get this camera for cheap? I always buy my cameras used. I always go through eBay, Offer, Facebook Marketplace. And the main reason why I buy them used is because, you know, these are depreciating assets in the sense that if you buy it, as soon as you buy it, the value goes down low when it's new. It's kind of like buying a car. If you buy a new car, you know, it's gonna depreciate over time, and as soon as you drive off a lot, it's gonna decrease in value. And it's similar to cameras. So I would absolutely buy these cameras used. I bought this Z6 right here, my second one that I bought, for around $700, so it's an absolute steal. You can find these cameras on these different sites for pretty cheap. Now I'll go ahead and take a look because you're gonna be pretty surprised to find, you know, what kind of deals you're able to get on this camera. And I know this camera's been out for 4 years, but it's still able to do an incredible job. At the end of the day, you as a landscape photographer is what's gonna dictate what this camera does and the images you're gonna get, and not the camera itself. So anyways guys, let me know what you guys think of this video. I know it's a pretty short one, but the Nikon Z6 is a camera that I've talked about for a very long time. I have so many videos on it, but I just can't keep raving enough about how great of a camera it is. I really don't feel like I need any other camera. Like I've just been using it for so long. I know this camera so well. Anyways guys, let me know what you guys think about this video. Would you get a Nikon Z6 in the year 2022? Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for experiencing the world with me. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.